It's so pleasant that the Nazis have decided to put their uniforms on and and show themselves coming from the Guardian there with their pigpen Masonic death code on a handwritten diary from a pioneering West Australian farmer who I absolutely know nothing about. A lot of things you're dragging in there, aren't you? A lot of preconceptions all kind of cobbled together that there's some type of Masonic fucking genocide code called Pigpen. When I just described the Pigpen that was built here by our government. Because that's a Nazi interpretation of the situation. Because it was a Nazi pigpen that was built in Western Australia. Falling down to a Masonic, it's like this is such a radical oversimplification of what's going on that it could only be coming from moronic Nazi cocksuckers. A paraded around collection of flag waving extremists on Sydney Harbour Bridge that's a far cry from a agricultural farm in Geraldton? Who are the pigs? Where is the pen? Who is being killed? Who is waving their fucking sword in the air? Who is having a fucking military parade in Australia right now? Because I'm sitting in my current girlfriend's fucking living room, talking to a live stream with no one on here. And you're claiming that there's a Masonic pigpen thing that hid a genocide of Aboriginals? You have remote control terrorists on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And you're saying that a farmer scribbling on a piece of paper what is, yet to be proven, and even if proven, obviously Sydney dispossessed a pretty large amount of Aboriginal people permanently. And so it seems like the only argument you're making once again is that scale matters. Look what we did with all our genocide. We made all this money. We made all this money to put on this Pirates of Penzance fucking performance on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And old fucking whatever fucking coddle me joddle fucking whatever his name is in Geraldton has a distributed normal family. Holy moly. Holy moly, it fucking looks different here than it does on Great Britain. Shit, everybody get their fucking balance. Catch your balance, because that's a fucking wonky fucking board that the fucking king's making us fucking stand on. That sounds like a humiliation fucking tactic from the King of fucking England. Shall we march down to the king and cut his fucking head off? Or should he fucking turn his little fucking robotic fucking terrorist machine off? Whichever one of his wanker sons is playing around with these fucking things had better fucking pull their head in before it's too fucking late. I'll say right now, if it is Harry and whoever fucking clocked him one, clock him another one. For fuck's sake. We don't take kindly to humiliation tactics like this. This fucking Nazi oversimplification is now so visible because we have two instances of it, don't we? Two instances of Nazi extravagant self-assuredness. Oh, we found a diary in Geraldton, and this gives us sway to sail in our fucking horrendous army to conquer Geraldton, to liberate the Aboriginal ancestors of those horrible colonisers. That's a bridge too far. It's too far a stretch. Do you know what I mean? I've mapped this out pretty fucking perfectly. If all of those, because it's like, if, say, this bloke killed Aboriginals, what were they doing? The fact he's hidden it in code. You don't know what's going on there. That could have been his moral code. Maybe everyone's doing it. Maybe he wasn't quite as a killing fucking robotic fucking murdering fucking savage as some of the other members of the pioneering force from all nations that tried to take rather big bites out of this country a long time ago. And so that his code, perhaps, he got that code from attending Masonic Lodge in Geraldton, but I can't see that he would have got much else from attending that Masonic Lodge. And so his use of, it's like, how many of those, it's like how many of those protesters had Nike written on their fucking shorts, or Adidas on their fucking shirts, or, let's fucking burn down those factories and liberate the Chinese fucking children that are working in it. And I'll just remind you that whatever you're a newspaper selling what? Wallpaper for the hardworking ladies and gentlemen of what? To be the King of England, to be the Emperor of the British Empire, you got to sit there with those fucking jewels on. You got to sit there in the fucking place. You got to sit there with the blood on the fucking walls. Do you know what I mean? This isn't Pepper the fucking Pig, bluey version of world history told lovingly by our Nazi invaders. This is Australia. Australia hasn't even started yet because it's been conflicted for 80 years in this perpetual fucking conflict between Nazis and Jews. Swastikas, goose steps, and fucking Nazi salutes is all it took to permanently and completely change the trajectory of the entire fucking world to the point where this is still going on. I don't need a fucking code in a handwritten diary to know that if given the chance and egged on, any member of that 90,000 fucking strong army on that bridge would actively participate in my dispatch, because as you can see, there is no one on here. There is no one around me, and never is at any point. And as I said, I've got a target jumper on. I've got a target on my back. And it says extra large man with a target on their back. And if that fucking happened, which it already has, you see, it already has happened. I mentioned that the only way that this would work is if that Lee's character jumped off the bridge and sacrificed himself. What do you call this? But that's a lot different to fucking shooting an Aboriginal guy that's nicked your watch up in Geraldton 200 years ago, or 100, however long ago. Isn't it? It's arbitrage of the clock variety, of the time variety. Live in the now. Live in the now. Be a Nazi. Live in the now. You only live once. You're not going to get an opportunity to walk across the Sydney Harbour Bridge in this moment again. That fucking spotlight is always so fucking the showbiz, you know, the showbiz element of everything. That's the uniforms and the badges, the salutes, the brands, the fucking, you know, the proof that you're the shit. The watches, the cars, the fucking everything. You're the shit. You're the fucking shit. Socialized kinghood. Socialized king. Everyone can be a king. All you need is 5 easy payments of $99, $99, $99, $99. And fuck, how good do you look on that treadmill looking at those fucking mirrors? That's the problem with Nazis. isn't it? That's the fucking problem with Nazis. Nazis are slaves, obviously. All the trappings of slavery. Enslaved by Hitler. As soon as this starts, or as soon as you barge onto our national monument, force your way into the Supreme Court with guns and fucking phones and threats, and I'm guessing, a monstrous amount of fucking other things going on. Nazis. Smile for the cameras. That's already happened too. So we got the photo. That's a bit more than a fucking diary, isn't it? With some fucking scribbles on it, yet to be determined whether fucking these scribbles mean anything. Oh. What are we fucking doing? What are we doing? Well, you got to look back in time. It's like the Nazis were more captured. It's all socialists, national socialists. But you're in the wrong country. The majority of natural-born Australians were sold and reinforced on a very achievable vision for themselves. If one could not be sucked down that visual, materialistic perception of wealth. Because as I said, if you're the king, you've got to sit in the castle with the fucking blood on your hands and all around you as the king. You don't get to dog whistle and fucking Adidas and Nike and Boss and fucking watches and fucking iPhones, you know what I mean? And Lamborghinis and BMWs and Mercedes-Benz and Ferraris and fucking Lamborghinis and fucking jetliners and fucking gold teeth and this shit and all this. Is just like you sit in the fucking castle with the blood on your hands and you wait for the fucking hordes to come. And you don't fucking mince words about it. That's what you do. But where did I acquire, or how did I acquire my possessions? I worked for them. I worked to collect a sufficient amount of tools and equipment and knowledge to provide myself in the long run with quite a humble vision on the landscape. I defended every Australian's right to do the same. I defended the boundary between a not publicised attempted capture, not with 3-strand fucking barbed wire and a letterbox, but with the most sophisticated global interconnected priming robotic brainwashing propaganda network on Earth, and then wheeled 90,000 machete wielding, iPhone holding, savage, idolatry pagans on a bridge in order to appease the supposed blood loss of the Aboriginal people. Well, the Aboriginal people are going to well and truly disappear if that fucking mob gets their fucking way. Aren't they? Obviously, for appearance's sake, the Aboriginal people aren't their first target. That would be stupid. You fucking have a fucking survey and you put a fucking Aboriginal these days next to a fucking Jew at the fucking Sideshow Alley, and god damn it, there's going to be a lot of Jews with bullets in their fucking heads. But I don't live in Sideshow Alley, and that's why I wouldn't recommend fucking moving there or fucking visiting or, participating in that monstrous mess, unless you're at the fucking Royal Show, in which there is an agreed upon collection of Sideshow Alleyers, extraordinaires, that provide amusements for a small, allowable period of time. And they don't live in that. They live on the road. They live moving and things like that. And this is a concept of this, the life on the road. And then it all just gets too convenient, because when I say Nazi, National Socialists. Oh yes, we've had a long time since that phrase was coined. National Socialists who hate Jews. A lot of them on that bridge. We've got to get to what is the nation? Well, there we are. There we are in this. The nation isn't iPhones. The nation isn't The Guardian. The nation isn't fucking Sydney Harbour Bridge. The nation isn't Sydney. The nation isn't a flag. The nation isn't really much of anything except for the wonderful concept that this is being held at the moment in conversation and symbolic outrage. And I'm sure that's exactly how most people would feel if they saw the treatment of the majority of Aboriginal people in our prisons right now. A large number of them have an electronic tracking device like cattle on them right now. But they don't live in cities. They come from the bush. They don't live in estate houses and things. This is the idea of a tracking bracelet, is to usually keep, I'm guessing, like fraudsters and things in house arrest, in a house, not a Aboriginal person living in the far outcrops. So yeah, I agree. Captain Cook, you know what I mean? Captain Cook and all that. Seems like our fucking Labor Party's stuck in a fucking time machine as well, and that's a fucking bridge too far. So I guess lucky there's a Tasmanian here, and as I said, we bought Tasmania with machetes to the population of Tasmania. We sent them lovingly away from that island after purchasing said island with said machetes. And we sent them on their merry way to build the Australia that we inspired within them on the mainland. And until World War II, Hobart was doing a pretty good job. Until a bunch of Nazis rocked up. Sent the whole world was doing okay. The Nazis in debt figured out ways to get out of their debt. Couple of little gimmicks. We got an old fucking Hindu fucking logo. We got a snazzy fucking well-dressed uniform. We've got an eccentric fucking and very, identifiable, passionate speaking fucking leader. And we've got a bunch of fucking crystal meth addicts trying to socialise nobility. Nobility by committee. So unearned. In a snap revolution. Oh, and we're still paying the fucking price. And you ask, what's Apple? It's the same thing. It's a fucking logo. It's a superior fucking cultural fucking identity. Prop. Apparently. It's a fucking intercom for Nazis. Holy shit. It's all written there in fucking Nazi fucking code. Oh. It's all just clearly written there in Nazi code. Symbolic code. Hypnotising you onto a bridge with your iPhone and then walking off the fucking bridge with your fucking iPhone and then getting to the end and going, and the police are fucking, And unfortunately, what you're arguing about really is two ships. And then it's like, fucking stop encouraging them, Separate them. There's just fucking one. There's one, you've gotten down to a flag and a fucking watermelon with all this disruption. Hitler would be fucking turning in his grave if he saw that. It's a mockery, I think, of the organisation of the National Socialist Party which compared to this. One thing is, at least with the Nazis, they were fucking organised. Do you know what I mean? They were fucking organised. So there was at least the potential of fucking negotiation between that fucking thing. And so I'd say Apple's pretty fucking, organised. And I'd say I'm doing a pretty good job at negotiating this disruption. And I guess I'm going to break it down to a fucking false advertising charge. Well, it's like, well, you sold a fucking fake Apple, and my family built their wealth in this country, or built their whatever by selling apples. And so it's the original NFT. And the market just fucking crashed for NFTs. Because an apple provides far more than just the bite, doesn't it? There's a tree, there's a supply chain, there's the interaction with the environment, there's the shade, there's the the beauty. Apple tree, 90,000 Nazis on Sydney Harbour Bridge, Garden of Eden, ringing any bells? There weren't as many people with their phones out on that bridge as I was expecting. We proved that obviously the phones are a great control device. So I'm guessing there's a fair few in people's pockets. And I'm guessing the distribution of those pockets. So it's like, what was on the person's? What clothes? What jewelry? What brands? What shoes? What watches? What phones? And there we go. It takes a gardener's eye to get away with fucking this level of invasion of privacy without going down to facial recognition software. But if there is a ultra high distribution of a particular handheld device on that bridge, then I'd say we've got a situation of Nazi livestock, which is, that's slavery. Fuck, you're not allowed. Slavery is not legal in Australia. We were going to blow that whole bridge up. Lucky I figured out they're all fucking slaves. Gee, lucky I figured out that they're all fucking trapped in a fucking Nazi iPhone concentration camp. Holy shit. Fuck, this goes deep, doesn't it? It goes fucking deep. I wonder how on earth I got to this perceptual fucking concept of our structures to such a high fidelity that I could fucking visualize that there's a bunch of fucking prisoners of war being fucking wheeled out unconsciously onto Sydney Harbour Bridge in some type of fucking Jonestown massacre, fucking luckily averted. Saner heads prevailed. Let's not fucking blow the whole bridge. Hang on a second, they're fucking prisoners of war. Oh, good golly. Good golly, your heart fucking skips a beat. It's like prisoners of war on the fucking bridge. Shit, that was close. So where are all the Nazis? Well, they own these stocks, don't they, when we get to that? So Apple, right? So we've got to hold all that stock market volatility, because that's unacceptable. It's very, very dishuman. It's a level of automation and control on supposedly free citizens in a way that makes your stomach turn. And it'll have a clearly identified kind of breadcrumb trail of Nazi exposure. Fuck. Fucking hell, eh? Just when you get used to it, like all the fucking apps and banking and your tap and pay and everything like that, and then you find out that you're a fucking prisoner of war in a fucking Apple concentration camp built by the Nazis, with the ultimate goal of, I'm guessing, shooting some fucking Jew running somewhere through the bush on his way up to fucking Geraldton. That's a weird fucking type of moral juggling, isn't it? It's a weird type of moral juggling in the air. Well, we built all this to catch every last fucking Jew. Is a little bit different than shooting some Aboriginal that fucking was trespassing on your property 100 however long years ago. It's a little bit different than anything in our history. It's very unsettling. It's very intimidating. Yes. So it is a threat. And it is very confronting as to the dystopian, hellish reality of what the world would be like if this wasn't stopped. I think if every kid in this fucking country right now got their bottle of fucking Masterfoods tomato sauce and sprayed it all over their fucking hideous iPhone carrying fucking parents for a second, then we'd get to the moment that's everyone's waiting for, a conclusion to this. People are not livestock. And when you socialize the aristocracy with a tool or with a trick like this, then you have dispersed responsibility. And so the Nazis had Hitler. And the Jews didn't. And now the Nazis have iPhones. And the Jews have me. And it's the It's the freeze frame on that. That really counts. It's the fucking, what do they call it? The 10,000 yard stare. You'd better fucking have that fucking stare. Pretty sure every Aboriginal in this country fucking has that stare. Haven't seen it in a Nazi for a long, long, long time now because of, again, socialised Nazism. It's the fucking panacea of ultimate conclusions. The Guardian. The Guardian. But yeah, totally unforgivable to kill anyone. To protect your farm. Who is an Aboriginal? I'd agree. Hopefully the family, the ancestors of that family can give back a little to the Aboriginal community. And to assist them in defending and experiencing their land. And I think I'd love to give any Aboriginal person from Western Australia a lovely opportunity to visit Tasmania, the Spirit of Hobart, or the Spirit of Tasmania. Spirit of Hobart is a small ship that is in the Derwent, which I would also like you to be given free tour on. The Spirit of Tasmania has however many things in it, and I'd love for you to take the opportunity, completely free of charge by the Australian federal government, to visit Tasmania and to focus your interpretation of Australian colonialism as distinguished guests. So if we can isolate the descendants, perhaps, of the victims, or just the region, or the state in general, really, we can have volunteer certain people on based on numbers, and we would love to show you this and show you the vastness of your people's presence on this land, and the vastness of the regions and the landscapes and the stories and the flow, in the hopes that hopefully with this assistance granted, something that might have taken upwards of 5,000 years for the slow, intermingling and storytelling and truth telling and passing of knowledge and things like that, not to trap you or fool you, but to inspire you. We're quite proud of the country that we call Australia. And a lot of Aboriginal people are quite proud of their place, their territory, and of their Aboriginal culture, and of their people's story of perseverance in this impossible task of communicating with these alien invaders that we are. And we look forward to your unique and individual manifestation of your own interpretation of our work on this land. There's no doubt in my mind that fences, and this is well spoken, fences are the problem. And to this day, I still see star pickets and barbed wire as a Catholic scourge upon this earth. For some reason, those star pickets are swords, and it may as well be the fucking Roman army. And God knows how old and how long and how many ancestral conflicts I've had on that line that I guess we find ourselves on either side of again. But I am not a representative of the Roman Empire. I'm a representative of the British Empire. We establish our territories in stone. This is a symbolic connection with stonemasons that is ancient. This begins with 4 stones if you were to parcel out an allocation of land. Now, where it goes from there, the sky is really the limit. And New York City is the greatest example of that. But like Icarus, which is something you should look up and find, there's actually an Icarus at Sydney Airport or Melbourne. I can't remember one of them. There is a statue of Icarus. Like Icarus, sometimes those towers, especially if you put 2 of them next to each other and you put a bunch of computer-wielding, phone-carrying, fucking psychotic, drug-taking, fucking Nazi con men in there, can collectively fly too close to the sun and those towers have to fucking fall. But Australia is big and vast, and so 4 rocks in my mind sounds a whole lot better than ankle bracelets connected to that fucking hellish fucking contraption. And that's the problem with the New York Yankees hats. I'd much prefer to just speak plainly in a way, and I believe that Aboriginal people can clearly understand me. Unlike our former Premier Mark McGowan, I don't need to resort to some gimmicky fucking translation service. We're Australians, you speak English. I know you fucking understand me. So get 4 rocks and cut the fucking bracelet off. That's it. Now, here's my suggestion. Small bites, fellas. Small bites. It doesn't stop you moving around. It does not stop you moving around. In fact, hopefully, if I can pull this all together, a big fucking tour on a big old ship to Tasmania. It's cold there. So, now's the time to go. Feel the cold. So when you come back, you feel warm. You fellas are way more prepared for this than we are. But here's the thing, small bites. I can't wait to see the first Aboriginal homestead, personally. I cannot wait. And it's a game of persistence. Spend your time in your allotment, clearly marked out. This doesn't need to be with us. This is a suggestion. It's no different than a New York Yankees hat. It's the least we could do. But begin there. Careful with the star pickets and the barbed wire and the fences to begin with. Have a place where you can sit, listen, watch. And you've got to walk down that fucking road between these two buildings in the sky. You got to walk down that fucking road between your people and our people. And all I've given you is 4 rocks to defend yourselves. And that is a heavy, heavy burden to carry, a heavy load. But this country made you strong to carry that load. You know what I mean? I'm not going fucking toe-to-toe with any Noongar on the fucking streets of fucking Perth. No, never fucking, no way. No fear, no how. No way, get fucked, fuck off. I've been there and done that. Take what you like and leave the rest alone. We have enough trouble with it. What we would say is our own people. What's our own fucking people? God damn it, that's a fucking complicated question. By making this too complicated, with brands and iPhones and fucking payments and licenses and registrations and that's a matter between yourself and the government of whatever state you find yourself in. But as far as the federal government is concerned, we will defend your rights as eternally as we are present here on all the other things, to markate an allocation, small, and exists within that. And the trick is, start small. And you got to stay there by yourself. You got to have something to come back and tell the people in the fucking city. And that takes a little bit of work. In your own way, in your own thing. And it's, in my estimation, it is going to be some misunderstood, potentially down the wrong track in the eyes of a lot of so-called Australians, a criminal, convict that is going to be the shining example of what conceptually we implanted in the minds of those Tasmanian Aboriginals that we sent on their merry way all those years ago. We didn't know there wasn't film. I don't think film cameras. Maybe they were. Maybe they were there. I don't think they were though. Film cameras. There were photographs. Film cameras. There weren't any iPhones. They came way, way later. There weren't any baseball caps. There weren't any cars. There weren't any. There wasn't any electricity. There wasn't any need to address every single attachment to the entity known as the British Empire. It was an empire. And I think the reality where you go, well, an empire is an emperor commanding ultimate rule. And it's like, no, that's what Hitler tried to do. No. An empire is an empire. It's a fucking large, uncontrollable thing containing everything, including Nazis. Get that around your fucking heads. It was like we had a fucking distribution in Europe of those who wish to kind of live in this unseen, like strange empire. What the fuck is an empire, guys? Well, there's a king, and there's a fucking post office, I guess. Then it gets fucking hazy. It's like, holy shit, I don't even fucking understand that fucking thing. Or there's like Nazis, where they all dress the same, and some of them carry distinguishing thing, and then there's this like machine, this corporate monstrosity, to which there is no better explanation than to say, well, robotically via handheld fucking walkie-talkie audio-visual devices, 90,000 Nazis were remote controlled onto the Sydney Harbour Bridge and filmed, and then ushered back in. They're not the Nazis. The Nazi concept is the phone, because the phone replaced so many things. which is a good bet. Small, compact device that replaces all these things. I was fucking hook, line, and sinker down that fucking thing until until I looked a bit closer and I went, this is a bit different than 4 Rocks. This is a bit different than 4 Rocks and an agreement with the king. And hey, I have a fucking inkling that, you know, the Aboriginal people facing down or trying to combat that reality. Jesus fucking Christ. That's a doozy. 4 Rocks and a stick, or a robotic fucking remote controlled Nazi fucking hell party. Pui. Treaty, yeah. I need the fucking clapsticks. Treaty, yeah. Treaty, yeah. How many fucking clapsticks are you gonna need? I just can't, unless of course clapsticks somehow materialize into something sufficient to that. That looks like we've got a Nazi fucking collection of fucking androids. Hybrid fucking, what are they called? Android. Yeah. Not just trying to genocide the fucking Aboriginal people, but trying to, like, they're trying to make the Aboriginal person Jesus. And he's like, fuck off, cunt. Fuck off. Leave me alone. Nah, leave me the fuck alone, cunt. I'm not your fucking Jesus Christ. That's way worse than trying to give them the story of Jesus Christ. You're trying to make them like a fucking mascot to make them Nazi Jesus. Like the fucking, it's like the crying fucking Indian with the litter all over again, except it's the Nazi fucking Aboriginal Jesus iPhone cult. And I guess that's where you got to go. Like, there's fucking, that's not very nice. Because Jesus, like, he did that on his own. He wasn't, you can't make Jesus. I think they tried to make Jesus with Kurt Cobain. I'm not even kidding. I actually think they did. I think before the Aboriginal Nazi fucking Jesus attempt, they tried to make Kurt Cobain Jesus. And he was like, no, fuck off, this is thing. And then they either they killed him or he killed himself. Because that's the only place you can go to. And that's too large a fucking thing to put on the shoulders of Aboriginal people. They haven't even got the 4 Rocks down yet. And neither have a lot of you, because you're so fucking absorbed in fucking, you know, gyprock walls and fucking downlines that you forgot about the 4 Rocks and the agreement with the king. And that's just been stretched so far into fucking La La Land. So far, so fucking It's like almost unforgivably far from that. And I'm having one fucking hell of a fucking stick fight on the boundary of my 4 rocks with an encroaching fucking automaton. We don't have the story of this Aboriginal fella that was shot by this apparently coded fucking diary expose. But we do have this. And I'm talking in our language and our customs. I'm saying what's going on. Part of me is very glad that this is taking place this way, because if you've read Snow Crash, that's like a really fucking this is kind of like Snow Crash, but it's way obviously now I can fucking think about it and go, oh, Snow Crash was was the Blade Runner. I look forward to that being made into a film. But yeah, it's the. I mean, in Australia we have Corey. What's his name? Corey fucking thing that had that house party that got gate crashed, and he had those fucking stupid glasses on. This is like our Prime Minister right now is fucking Corey Worthington. Corey Worthington, isn't it? And so let's continue forward. Prime Minister is Corey Worthington, and go speak to him at the fucking gate of the lodge and get him to turn the fucking music down and get the hookers out of the fucking pool.